Beans look simple, small, cheap, ordinary, something you throw into soup, add to rice, mash into a dip, put inside a burrito, or leave in the back of a pantry for months. But beans are one of the most important foods in human history. They are ancient, they are powerful, they are cheap protein, they are survival food, they are comfort food, they are farming tools, they feed families, they improve soil. They appear in almost every major food culture on Earth. And yet most people barely understand them. They just see beans as beans. But black beans are not the same as kidney beans. Chickpeas are not the same as lentils. Soybeans are not the same as pinto beans. Mung beans are not the same as navy beans. And even though we often put them in one category, different beans behave differently in your body, in your kitchen, and in the world. So to understand beans, we have to start with the bigger idea. Most beans are legumes. A legume is a plant that produces seeds inside pods. That includes beans, lentils, peas, chickpeas, peanuts, and soybeans. So when people say beans, they are usually talking about edible seeds from legume plants. But not every legume is used the same way. Some are eaten whole, some are split. Some are dried, some are sprouted, some are ground into flour, some are turned into oil, some become tofu, tempeh, soy milk, hummus, dal, falafel, baked beans, refried beans, bean paste, or chili. This is what makes beans so interesting. They are not just one food. They are a whole category of foods that humans learned to transform. Beans became important because they solved a basic human problem. How do you get enough nutrition from the land without always depending on meat? Meat is nutrient dense, but it can be expensive. Animals take space, feed, water, and time. Beans are different. They grow from plants, they can be dried and stored for a long time. They are filling. They provide protein, they provide fiber, they provide minerals, and they can feed large groups of people at a low cost. That is why beans show up everywhere. Rice and beans in Latin America and the Caribbean, dal in South Asia, chickpeas across the Middle East and Mediterranean, soybeans across East Asia, black-eyed peas in West Africa and the American South, baked beans in Britain and the United States, refried beans in Mexico, lentil soup in Europe and the Middle East, mung beans in Asia. Beans are not just ingredients, they are part of civilization. But here is where the story gets interesting. Beans are powerful because of what they contain, but they are also complicated because of what they contain. A bean is basically a seed, and a seed is designed to survive. It has stored energy, stored protein, stored minerals, a protective outer layer, and natural compounds that help defend it before it grows into a plant. That is why beans are nutritious. But it is also why they usually need soaking, cooking, sprouting, fermenting, or processing before they become easy to eat. Raw or undercooked beans can be hard to digest. Some can even be dangerous. Kidney beans, for example, contain high levels of a natural toxin called phytohemagglutinin when raw or improperly cooked. This is why dried beans need proper boiling, not just warming, not just slow heating. Proper cooking matters. Beans are healthy, but they are not designed to be eaten straight from the plant like fruit. They are designed to be transformed. And humans became very good at transforming them. Soaking helps dried beans absorb water. Cooking softens their structure. Fermentation can change flavor and digestion. Sprouting activates growth and changes texture. Grinding turns them into flour. Mashing turns them into dips and fillings. Each method changes the bean. And each culture found its own way to make beans useful. Now let's talk about why beans are so filling. The answer is fiber. Beans are rich in dietary fiber, especially soluble and resistant fibers that move through the digestive system more slowly. This slows digestion, it helps you feel full. It can help steady blood sugar compared to fast digesting refined carbs, and it feeds gut bacteria. That is one reason beans have such a strong reputation as a healthy food. They do not just provide calories. They interact with the digestive system. A bowl of white rice can give you energy quickly. A bowl of rice and beans can feel more balanced because the beans add protein, fiber, texture, and slower digestion. This is why many traditional food combinations are smarter than they look. Rice and beans are not random. Corn and beans are not random. Flatbread and lentils are not random. These combinations often create meals that are affordable, filling, and nutritionally stronger together. Beans provide amino acids that grains may lack more of. Grains provide amino acids that beans may lack more of. Together, they can create a better protein profile. This does not mean every meal has to be perfectly combined. The body can use amino acids across the day, but traditional combinations like rice and beans became common because they work, they are practical, they are filling, they are cheap, and they taste good. Now let's explain the major beans. Black beans are small, dark, and earthy. They are common in Latin American, Caribbean, and Southwestern cooking. They hold their shape well and have a slightly sweet, deep flavor. They work in soups, rice bowls, burritos, stews, salads, and dips. Black beans are popular because they are versatile. They can be simple and rustic, but they can also feel rich and satisfying. Pinto beans are lighter, softer, and creamier when cooked. They are commonly used in Mexican and Tex-Mex cooking. When mashed, they become refried beans. Their texture is one of their biggest strengths. They are not just beans you eat whole. They can turn into a smooth, comforting base for tacos, burritos, tostadas, and rice plates. Kidney beans are larger, firmer, and more dramatic. They are famous in chili red beans and rice and many stews. They hold their shape well after cooking, which makes them useful in dishes that simmer for a long time. But kidney beans also need proper cooking because of their natural toxins when raw. They are a perfect example of how beans can be both useful and demanding. Navy beans are small, white, and mild. They become soft and creamy. They are often used in baked beans, soups, and stews. Their flavor is not aggressive. That is the point. They absorb the flavors around them: tomato, molasses, garlic, herbs, smoked meat, vegetables. Navy beans are like a blank canvas. Cannellini beans are larger white beans with a creamy texture. They are common in Italian cooking. They work well in soups, salads, and dishes with olive oil, garlic, herbs, and greens. They feel gentle and smooth. They can make a dish feel hearty without feeling heavy. Great Northern beans are another white bean. They are medium-sized, mild, and useful in soups and casseroles. They sit somewhere between navy beans and cannellini beans. Not too small, not too large, not too strong. They are the kind of bean that quietly improves a dish without taking over. Chickpeas, also called garbanzo beans, are different. They are firmer, nuttier, and more textured. They are the base of hummus. They can be roasted until crispy, they can be ground into flour, they can become falafel, they can be added to curries, salads, soups, and stews. Chickpeas are one of the most globally important legumes because they can become so many different foods: a soft dip, a crunchy snack, a fried patty, a protein-rich curry, a flour for batter. One bean, many identities. Lentils are often grouped with beans, but they cook differently. They are smaller and flatter. They usually do not need soaking. They cook faster. Brown and green lentils hold their shape better. Red and yellow lentils break down into a soft, creamy texture. That is why lentils are so important in soups and dal. They can become a thick base without needing cream. They are fast, affordable, and easy to flavor. For many people, lentils are the most practical legume because they cook quickly and still deliver protein and fiber. Mung beans are small green beans common in many Asian cuisines. They can be cooked whole. They can be split. They can be sprouted. Mung bean sprouts are crisp, fresh, and commonly used in stir-fries, soups, and salads. Split mung beans can become soft and comforting. They are used in savory dishes and even desserts. This shows something important about beans. A bean is not locked into one flavor identity. Depending on how it is cooked, it can become savory, sweet, soft, crispy, fresh, or fermented. Black-eyed peas are small, pale beans with a dark spot. They are important in West African cooking, Southern American food, and other traditions. They have an earthy flavor and cook into a soft but distinct texture. In the American South, they are often connected with New Year traditions and ideas of luck and prosperity. This is another side of beans. They are not only nutrition, they can become symbols of luck, home, survival, community, tradition. Soybeans may be the most powerful bean in the modern world. Most beans are eaten directly. Soybeans became an entire industry: tofu, soy milk, tempeh, miso, soy sauce, edamame, soy protein, soy oil. Animal feed, processed foods. Soy is unusually high in protein and fat compared to many other beans. That makes it valuable. It can become a plant-based protein, a fermented seasoning, a milk alternative, an oil source, a meat substitute, a feed crop. In East Asian food cultures, soybeans became one of the most flexible ingredients ever developed. In the modern food system, they became one of the most commercially important crops on Earth. But soy also shows how complicated food can become. A traditional block of tofu is one thing. A highly processed soy ingredient inside an industrial snack is another. Same plant family, very different food. This is why beans are healthy is true, but incomplete. Boiled chickpeas are not the same as deep-fried snacks. Edamame is not the same as ultra-processed soy protein in a fast food product. The bean matters, but the cooking method matters too. And this brings us to the biggest bean complaint: gas. Beans have a reputation, and honestly, they earned it. Many beans contain carbohydrates called oligosaccharides that humans do not fully digest in the small intestine. When these reach the large intestine, gut bacteria ferment them. That fermentation can produce gas. This is why beans can make people bloated, especially if they are not used to eating them. But this does not mean beans are bad. It means your gut is reacting. For many people, tolerance improves over time. Start with small portions. Rinse canned beans. Soak dried beans. Cook them well. Use spices and herbs. Increase slowly. Your gut bacteria can adapt. Beans are not always easy at first, but they can become easier, and for many people, the benefits are worth it. Beans are one of the best examples of a food that supports long-term health without being expensive. They are linked to better heart health patterns, better fiber intake, more stable meals, and lower cost nutrition. They are common in many traditional diets associated with longevity, not because they are magical, but because they are practical. They replace more expensive or less balanced foods. They fill you up. They support the gut. They work with grains and vegetables. They can be cooked in large batches. They can feed a family. They can sit in a pantry until needed. That last point matters. Beans are resilient food. Dried beans can last a long time. Canned beans are convenient. Lentils cook quickly. Bean flours can be stored. In times of economic pressure, beans become even more important. When meat prices rise, beans remain one of the cheapest protein sources. When families need filling meals, beans stretch the plate. When communities need food security, beans help. This is why beans often show up in the meals of ordinary people, not because they are boring, because they are dependable. But beans are also important for the land. Legume plants can form relationships with bacteria in their roots that help fix nitrogen from the air into the soil. That means they can improve soil fertility and reduce the need for some added fertilizers. Farmers have known for a long time that legumes can be valuable in crop rotations. They are not just food. They are part of farming systems. This is one reason beans have been so important historically. They feed people, and they can help the land that feeds people. Of course, not every bean crop is automatically sustainable. Large-scale farming can still involve land use, water use, pesticides, transportation, and industrial processing. But compared to many animal-based protein sources, beans usually offer protein with a much lower environmental footprint. That makes them important in conversations about the future of food. If the world needs affordable protein, beans are part of the answer, not the only answer, but a major one. Now let's talk about canned beans versus dried beans. Dried beans are cheaper. They let you control texture, salt, and flavor, but they take time. You may need soaking, you need cooking, you need planning. Canned beans are faster. Open the can, rinse, heat, eat. They cost more than dried beans, but they save time. And for many people, that convenience matters. The healthiest option is often the one you will actually use. A bag of dried beans that sits untouched for a year is not better than canned beans you actually eat. This is true for food in general. Practical beats perfect. If canned beans help you cook more at home, they are useful. If dried beans help you save money and make big batches, they are useful. The best bean is the one that fits your life. There is also a texture difference. Dried beans cooked from scratch can become softer, richer, and more flavorful because they absorb seasonings as they cook. Canned beans are already cooked, so they are best for quick meals. You can still improve them with garlic, onion, spices, herbs, tomato broth, or oil. Beans reward seasoning. Plain beans can taste boring. But beans cooked with flavor can become incredible. This is another reason beans are global. They adapt. Add cumin, chili, and lime. They feel Mexican or Tex-Mex. Add garlic, rosemary, and olive oil. They feel Mediterranean. Add turmeric, ginger, and cumin. They feel South Asian. Add coconut milk and spices. They feel Caribbean or Southeast Asian. Add tomato and smoked paprika. They become hearty and deep. Beans do not demand one cuisine, they accept flavor from everywhere, and that is their genius. But there is one mistake people make with beans. They expect beans to be exciting without help. Beans are like rice, pasta, potatoes, or bread. They need salt, they need fat, they need acid, they need aromatics, they need spices. They need contrast. A squeeze of lime can wake them up. A little vinegar can brighten them. Olive oil can make them richer. Garlic and onion can build a base. Chili can add heat. Herbs can add freshness. Texture can change everything. Creamy beans with crunchy toppings. Soft lentils with fresh herbs. Roasted chickpeas on a salad. Black beans with rice and salsa. Pinto beans mashed into a warm tortilla. When beans are boring, it is usually not the beans' fault. It is the preparation. So what are beans really? They are seeds. They are protein. They are fiber. They are culture. They are survival. They are soil builders. They are comfort food. They are one of the oldest answers to one of humanity's oldest questions. How do we feed people well without needing luxury? That is why beans matter. Not because they are trendy, not because they look impressive, not because they are expensive, but because they work. They work in poor homes and rich kitchens. They work in street food and fine dining. They work in soups, stews, salads, dips, curries, pastes, snacks, and desserts. They work for farmers, they work for families, they work for the planet, and they work because they are humble. A bean does not look like much, but inside that small seed is protein, fiber, energy, minerals, history, culture, and possibility. One bean can become a meal. A field of beans can feed a village. A tradition built around beans can last for centuries. So the next time you see a bowl of beans, do not think of it as ordinary. Think of it as one of the most important foods humans ever learned to cook. Simple, cheap, powerful, and quietly responsible for feeding the world.